what's up you guys, this is Rob from The Gay Guy Plays, and today on The Daily Grind, we are going to be blatantly ripping off one of DK's videos. Now, not blatantly, we're gonna have our own specific twist on it, and I want to talk about it because I thought it was such a good idea. He actually released a video on Vault Prime Access and was kind of like talking about all of the relics and whatnot that are going away from it, so I thought I would touch on those real quick, and then have a discussion about Platinum. Because I think that this is a prime opportunity for Platinum. God, I've been hanging out with Mogamu too much. So as you can see, the upgrades for Volt is that he has extra power and he has extra armor. So that's a nice little bump, but we're not going to be revisiting that old customization for Volt. Hurts my eyes. Let's go ahead and take a look at the ODANATA versus the ODANATA Prime. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to leave a list of all of the relics and kind of like the places that they drop from in the description box below. Just keep that out. DK actually covered that in his video, so if you want to go ahead and check that out, I'll also be leaving a link in there for you guys to take a look at. Now, one of the big reasons that I really wanted to chat about this today, and let's go ahead do a quick look at this. So the Amisha actually has more shields and more health, or not Amisha, oops, sorry. The ODANATA Prime has more shields and more health than the original ODANATA. So one of the big things that I really wanted to chat about with this is kind of like future-proofing your Platinum stores. This is one of the things that people, I'll show you the build. This is one of those things that a lot of people tend to not do, and it kind of makes me a little bit frustrated. When Nighttane came out, a lot of people were like, oh my god, I hate Nighttane, blah, 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 I have to wait for all of the alerts. And a part of me is like, well, baby, if you had been doing the alerts the whole time that Nighttane was available, and admittedly, when it first launched, of course, you had to wait to kind of like build up your stores. But legitimately, kind of like the way that I feel about things like Nighttane now, things like Kuva now, even things like Focus, and all of that kind of stuff is just get your shit fucking done, and you'll always be taken care of. So one of the big things, and I should probably figure out where some of the shit where the shit starts falling. I was just gonna go do a Kuva mission because I need to build up my Kuva farms. So for Volt, we've got the Lith V1 relic. I've got a good amount of those. What am I hurting for? I'm Meso, Neo. So let's figure out where the Neo relics. Okay, I'm taking care of the Axie. So it seems like Neo is the only thing that I really need, and that's for the Volt Prime blueprint. Where else? No? Blueprint? No? Yeah, that's the only thing that I really need to worry about. Oh, nope, I've got some more Volt Prime blueprint stuff over there. Yeah, it looks like Volt Prime blueprints are kind of like what I'm hurting for, but we could get that from the Axie N3s, and they've got Forma in there. you know that's my jam. You know that is totally my jam. There's also Forma in here too. Let's go with an Axie. So let's see if anybody is doing something in Hurricane. So what I like to do for a lot of the things that I've kind of like been working on is always making sure that I have all of the shit that I need. And I know that sounds kind of like crazy, but whenever something like a Prime Access Volting comes into play, I always kind of keep in mind, do I have any extra copies of that frame? Now, when I go and sell to like Barokatir and all of that kind of stuff, I always make sure to keep a certain amount of things, especially if I know that they're being vaulted. I try to do my best to be very cognizant of what's going in the vault, because as you guys know, recently, what's been happening is I actually went, full-time as a YouTuber, and or content creator, period. And I don't have all the money in the world to be spending on Platinum and whatnot, which is really frustrating, because before with my old job I was able to basically just spend willy-nilly, and I'm gonna tell you right now, to this very day, even though apparently I'm a part of the Warframe Illuminati, my Illuminati powers cannot land me a goddamn 75% off discount for the fucking life of me. Regardless, the kind of big thing for me is whenever I see one of these Voltings come out, Voltings come out, is I want to make sure that I have at least a couple copies of that Warframe. So more recently, because of the fact that my ass has been poor, what I've actually been doing is I've been selling off primed sets to make sure that I just am able to kind of keep costs up, because sometimes You need to make sure that you have boosters. You need to make sure that you have, things available to you, at least in my perspective, to make videos and whatnot. So in this case, it's kind of like, this is the perfect time for you to stock up on Volt Prime parts. Now, here is the big mistake that everybody makes. They take it, they store it up, and then they sell it ASAP. And there is a certain market, and I'm gonna sound like some dirty corpus scum. I'm gonna sound legit like a fucked up corpus stockbroker and shit. But one of the big things about this is making sure that you hold on to it for a little bit. This isn't about making money ASAP. These Volt Prime relics and these Volt Prime parts that you end up farming up, they're future proofing. So what it is you don't sell it now. You sell it when it's extremely unavailable. You look around and say, okay, when is this going to be worth the most? And of course, right now everybody's farming for it. Everybody's going to be trying to sell sets. And honestly, I'd wait. And one of the things that I think a lot of people are sleeping on is the ODANATA Prime stuff. And I know that everybody hates ODANATA Prime now. And I'm not saying that it's going to be a big future seller, but the fact is people are not really, at odds to get their hands on it now. They're like, Arcwing is not a thing. But if anything ever happens to Arcwing, where it becomes an extremely popular game mode, or even a fairly popular game mode, and all of the relics are gone, all of the blueprints are gone and unavailable, the price for that kind of Arcwing stuff is going to be a lot bigger on the market. Now, a lot of people hate the market, and I can see why. The market isn't necessarily a friendly place for people, but it's almost, I hate to say it, it's almost one of those necessary evils. Sometimes you need to get your hands on shit. Sometimes your body just needs things, and you can't do it without platinum. So the best way to go about it is to farm these relics, farm up the Volt Prime pieces, and sit on them. Just sit on them for a good deal of time. Now, honestly, I actually had a good amount of Rhino blueprints, just full sets, and also do your best to get full sets, by the way. And don't hesitate to trade to get yourself full sets. I know that sounds really, really weird, but what ended up happening is, for one of the more recent videos that I ended up doing, not more recent videos, for one of my more recent trades that I ended up doing, somebody couldn't give me the price that I wanted for, it might have been a Rhino Prime set, to be honest with you. And what I ended up doing is I ended up looking through all of my current Prime sets, and I'm like, all right, what don't I have as a set? It's kind of like, I think I had three chassis, 3 blueprints, but I was missing systems or something to kind of keep everything balanced out. And honestly, what kind of ends up happening is people will tend to buy sets more often than they tend to buy pieces. And depending on the kind of Warframe broker you are, sometimes you'll charge more from it, sometimes you charge less from it, but either way, it's always nice to have a full set to go in and sell. So if you need to trade with somebody, sometimes it's a good idea if they don't have all of the plat in the world to fill out a full set of something else. And I know that sometimes, you're like, you only see, when people get into the markets, they get into that kind of platinum zone. They're like, I just want the highest platinum amount that I can get it. But if you're future-proofing, what ends up happening is you end up getting yourself a full set for the future. And you'll probably end up making more money from that from the future. You know what I mean? And the big thing about it is to make sure that you're doing all of the things now. That you're taking care of all of your shit now, so that later on, when you need it, you'll have resources available to you, which is pretty much what I did with the Rhino Prime and all of the Vaulted Prime stuff. Is I tend to keep that stuff. If I'm doing a giveaway, which is a very rare day, but if I am doing a giveaway, one of the things I make sure I'm doing is not necessarily giving away things that I know I'm going to end up needing to complete full sets. You know what I mean? I always want to make sure that I have a full set of something, or I'm not giving away something that is too insanely, oh, I could probably make platinum from that later on. Just because of the fact that sometimes you need it. And legitimately, it's one of those things that really saved my butt. I was like, oh, thank God I had an extra, Loki Prime set lying around. Thank God I had an extra Rhino Prime set lying around. And truth be told, and I don't want anybody in the comments to start begging me, I've got sets for pretty much everything, and I have extra sets, but I always hold on to them just in case. I'm always saying, gotta future proof. That's why I'm always forming pharma. That's why I'm always pharma. Did I say pharma? Well, it's pretty close. I'm always farming pharma. Did I reverse them? Did I reverse them? But yeah, I'm always farming for that extra stuff. Always making sure that I have that kind of stuff handy. Mainly because of the fact that you never know when you're gonna need it. And so many people in the game kind of have this mentality of, I just need to get what I need to get now and then I'm done. And that's fine. That's totally fine. That's totally, you know, play your game the way that you want. But as for someone who's been around for a really, really long time, it makes me sound really old. Oh my god, I'm not old, I swear. As for someone who's been around for a long time, this is a great chance to set yourself up for success in the future. You know, you're not going to make money off of this now. This is not going to be one of those things that, you know, you're going to be able to sell off real quickly for a real good, you know, an insanely big benefit to you. But so, like, I mean, to be honest, sometimes it's one of those things where you feel good about it later on because of the fact that, you know, oh, I can get this deluxe skin set without cringing because of the fact that I just happen to have an extra prime set laying around, whether it be a weapon or whether it be a frame. Now, the biggest deals of this is the fact that there is a frame that is available, and I do have to say, even though, I mean, I like him. I like him a lot, but he's, you know, not my, like, favorite. I'm not gonna rush out to get him, but one of the things that it is, Volt is a starter frame. So there's a lot of people that are getting into the game now that are just starting out, don't know anything about Volt Prime, and are going to run into a situation where the only way to get their, you know, starter frame primed is going to be through the markets, because all of the relics are not going to be around anymore. And I'm going to be honest with you, that's going to fetch a pretty decent price. So I would highly suggest, you know, farming up the pieces now, doing what you can to get your hands on at least one set or two sets now. Just to future-proof things, you know? And again, like I said, a lot of players don't have that kind of foresight to start looking. You're like, oh, okay, but this is definitely one of those things that I think are a really good investment, and even more so, and I hate to, like, hedge my bets on it, because I feel like I'm totally gonna make myself feel really, really stupid if, you know, it's not the case. But, you know, if something amazing happens with Arcwing, ODANATA Prime is also going to be gone. And even though ODANATA Prime is not my favorite Arcwing, it is a really great model. It is mastery rank stuff. So what will end up happening with that is, you know, people are not going to be able to have that available. And I hate maggots. Oh, I should probably just do this. This will probably just save me all of the pain. Oh, there's like a lot of you. Sorry. Cyrano's Prime for the win. Yes, I know everybody is like, oh, I hate it because it doesn't deal enough damage. But you know what? It's doing the job. It's doing the job, especially because I have that hefty ribbon on it. Die, Flying Bird of Death. But yeah, so one of my pieces of advice, definitely for the Volt Prime set, is don't fucking sell it right away. What's happening right now is there's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna be selling Volt Prime sets. That's just the lay of the land right now. There's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna be trying to do it. So I would highly suggest not selling them now and just being patient. You know, don't look at this opportunity as something that you want to do to make money at this very moment. Look at it as something that you're gonna sell like 5 or 6 months down the line. And I know some people are gonna be like, well, I don't want to wait that long. But you know what? It's a big thing. It will end up helping you out in the long run if you can end up saving this kind of stuff and making you know, making the platinum off of it in the future. Because, ooh, come on, baby, hold on. I'm really, I accidentally spawned this point, and I have this kind of like point of pride where I'm like, okay, I fucked this up. I was the one who fucked this up. Let me make sure that it works. No, get away, everybody get away. I don't want to be the failure in this. Go, get out. But yeah, so don't try to sell them right away. And also, one of my big tips for what is it called? For no. I'm more pissed at the fact that I'm dead now, because now I can't defend the fucking thing. Let's turn around, turn the fuck around. Turn around. Save my babies. But yeah, one of my biggest tips for trade chat too is always look at what people are selling to. Don't Oh my god, you bitch you. Oh my god, you bitch you. Get away from it. Get away. Oh, the stress. One of the big tips for, at least one of my big tips for trade chat too, is make sure that you're looking at what people are buying and not getting any responses for. That's also another big way to kind of like look at what's on high demand in trade chat and nobody's able to fill that demand. Mainly because of the fact that if you know that it's something that people want, and if you can possibly fulfill that need slash desire, that's also a great way to make some plat off of that. And keeping that in mind at the same time, always kind of being able to have those things that people demand on the ready, because that's one of the things that I noticed that people do a lot in trade chat is they will spam their wares, and then like 2 or 3 rows down, somebody asks to buy that item, and then that person continues to ask to buy that item. So either that person is really are selling it at a super high price, the other person is super lowballing them, or power in use, buddy. It's not in use. All right, I think the whole team is. I don't know where the whole team is. Where are you, team? Either it comes down to you know, those factors. Kind of either someone is highballing, somebody is lowballing, or that person who's trying to sell is just not paying attention. And a lot of the times, what I'll do is I'll just look at what people are asking for in trade chat, and I'm like, oh, that guy wants this. Pretty sure I've got a set of that lying around. And that's also why I always kind of say, I'm like, yeah, it's good to future-proof, good to make sure that you have sets of Volt Prime, because if you're in trade chat and you really need some platinum, right, and somebody says, want to buy Volt Prime set, you know, you'll have it available for them, and that's kind of nice, because now you've made, I know it sounds so skeezy. I hate talking about like trade chat, and I hate talking about like, oh, what blueprints I have and all that kind of stuff. It feels so skeezy, but legitimately this is like one of those really good ways to keep yourself. Is this it? Did I do the right one? Is this the right one? Either way, they both need it. No, this is, oh my god, get away. So many of you, I hate you all. Go home, nobody wants you here. Hold on, I think my headset is like gonna die in a hot second. But yeah, that's kind of like the way that I think about things all the time, is like, alright, it's better to have these sets than not to have these sets. It's better to always kind of keep everything on the ready just in case you need to sell something, because here's the thing, it's easier to go into trade chat as somebody who has stuff to sell, as opposed to, you know, kind of like saying, oh, or who has things that are in demand to sell, as opposed to a player that kind of just, oh my god, I know, just do this and you'll be fine. Just, you know, all of you guys just stop, everybody. What is this? What set do I have on? That was Zeneric. It should have been Zeneric, right? You jerkbags. I should have been able to stop that. No. I don't think I got a single relic on this run, but it's okay. It's more principle than anything. Oh my god. Get. I gotta kill this guy. Just out of principle and out of my hate for these little shits. I've got to do it. But no, like I said, time to go. All right, let's head out. That's actually perfect timing probably for this. But yeah, so that's kind of like my point of view on all of like the market stuff, how to make platinum. It was probably a bit ramblier than it needed to be, but legitimately, just get your ass farming, future-proof your accounts, make sure that you know you have your items all ready to sell, because again, it's easier to go into trade chat having things and saying, oh, that guy wants to buy this thing, that guy wants to buy this thing, and working from there, as opposed to trying very hard to like, oh, why aren't people buying my stuff? Well, easy, they ain't buying your stuff because either you're not selling it at a good price, you're not selling things that people don't want, or you're not paying attention to trade chat and kind of looking at the fact that people do want to buy that stuff. You're just not responding to them in any way, shape, or form. So I feel really bad because, okay, this is gonna sound stupid. This is gonna sound so stupid, but I got really excited to use Volt Prime because I was like, oh my god, what melee weapon am I gonna use on him? Oh yeah, you have to use Fragor Prime, and then he becomes like Thor. Okay, that's, you know, that's my ADD kicking in, sorry. We're talking about trade, and then all of a sudden it becomes about Thor. Regardless, I highly suggest you get your Volt Prime stuff now. I would also suggest on the low, grab some of that ODANATA Prime stuff and keep some stores of that just for future proofing. Also, farm your Nitane, farm your Kuva, make sure you're getting your focus, because you never know. Shit is always coming. Warframe is always doing shit, and DE's always got some shit hiding behind your back. So make sure to pick all of that stuff up. Just know that it will be gone with the Banshee Prime update. That's when when it's kaput. So get your relics, get your blueprints, get all that stuff. Now at least get the relics. So at least you can have the relics to like use. Farm it up with your friends. All get together and just start farming up some Volt Prime parts and future-proof your accounts. So that way, in the future, 5-6 months down the line from now, I know it sounds so like grown up. You'll have access to all of these primes. You'll be able to sell them at a pretty good price, and you won't have the competition that's currently in the market right now. But that's pretty much it. So I hope this kind of like weird Warframe financial advice helps. You guys take care of yourselves, and as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch your body. I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.